So again, no names and recording. So it says here clearly that homework, the homework, which is 14 assignments, right, that you got last week, is you have to print the assignments and fill them in, or you can write the answers on a sheet of paper. However you want to do it. But make sure you're labeling the assignment, the correct assignment, and make sure that you're putting full answers, full sentence answers, or you're writing the questions down, whatever you want to do. I would go with print, especially since you have 3 printers, at least 2 printers in the hallway, and a crazy printer. I think there's 2 printers in the computer lab. I mean, you can access it right after school, I think, and certainly before school, right? Is that right? Okay, so there's really no reason why you're not printing these. But whatever you want. You've had a week. I'm sure the printers have been working sometime in that week. Number 2, you have the test has been moved to next Tuesday, because we're going to have a lab, and we're going to talk about the lab today. So we're going to have a lab on Wednesday when you get back. All right, so 1 week from tomorrow you have the test, and it's going to have some other things in it other than osmosis diffusions, a few other things. One of the things is the lab that you're going to do on Wednesday. So that'll also give us, so all your homework will be due on Thursday instead of Wednesday. Is that clear? And on Thursday, we'll go over the homework, we'll go over the lab, we'll go over the homework, make sure you understand everything, make sure you understand the practice test, make sure you understand the homework assignments. I will grade them in class, and once they're graded, we will grade them in class rather. We're going to switch papers, and as we go through them, your colleagues will grade them. Is that understood? We'll put the grade in the grade book right there in class, and then you'll take them home with you graded with the correct answers on it. Is that clear? Yeah. All right. So again, the homework's due Thursday. What's going to be on the test? Let's make sure we understand what's going to be on the test. We got active transport and passive transport. Active, we're going to worry about ATP. You're going to worry about sodium potassium pump. You're going to worry about simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion. What is facilitated diffusion? Carrier proteins, channels. Remember, I should be able to open up your notebooks right now and see a litany of index cards, vocabulary cards with all the words written out. There should be no question as to what the vocabulary words are at this point. And by the way, your ebook lists the vocabularies words in case you didn't get them in class. Endocytosis means what? En means what? Enter or in. So endocytosis is coming into the cell. Exocytosis is when things are leaving the cell. So phagocytosis is when you're dealing with very large structures, like a prokaryote, like a white blood cell, eating or taking in a bacteria in order to digest it. That's what white blood cells do. That's why they're called phagocytes, because cytes meaning cell and phago meaning to swallow. All right, so they're swallowing up the bacterial cell and digesting them. Is that clear? So phagocytosis is when the cells take up large, very large structures. Exocytosis is when things are going out. When do things go out of a cell? When hormones are released from a cell, where do they come from? Inside the cell, where proteins are made. How do you get them out? Exocytosis. That's when the membranes fuse. We have a whole project that you completed that you should know the drawings of. In fact, I almost feel like giving you a special test where you're drawing everything out. And I'm just grading your drawing. I'm actually might do that. I have to think about it and see how the time varies work, because the problem is that I really wanted you to take the test this week, but because it's stuff that's outside our control, we had to move things to Wednesday, or rather, move things around. So we're doing the lab on Wednesday. Okay? So let's talk about the pre-lab. We're going to do a lab on Wednesday, so let's talk about what the lab is, and let's talk about what my expectations are, and then we'll talk about the content that's going to be in the lab, and make sure you're ready for what's coming. Now we talked about it yesterday, where I said, look, I need to encourage you to improve your efficiency, and we said if you come in and you get everything set up and you get your work done for that day on time, you get 50 points just for coming in on time, in dress code, sitting down and getting things done on time, and that's a measurable goal. Do you agree? I can easily tell if somebody got something done on time, started on time or not. So on Wednesday, when you come in, you're going to have a Juno. What you're going to need to do, and I should first tell you right now, you guys should set yourselves up with partners. You should have partners. Each of you should get your own Chromebook on Wednesday. Everybody should have their own Chromebook on Wednesday. Then you should partner up. Then individually take your Junos. No talking during the Junos. Take your Junos individually. I want to know, this is your pretest, it's worth 10 points. It's a quiz. I want to know what you know about the topics before we move into the lab. Then you'll have a partner. You have again, you and your partner are going to sit down, you're going to open up the messages in Jupiter Grades. Get out of your Juno, go to Jupiter Grades, go to your messages. There you're going to find the electronic version of the lab. You will have a physical copy on the day of the lab. You're going to write on the physical copy. Everybody's going to write on it. Is that clear? But you're going to have the electronic version, so all you got to do is click on the links. So you don't have to waste time typing the links. Read the lab very carefully as you're doing it. There are steps you have to follow. When you're clicking, you have to allow permissions. There's going to be allow Java to run, allow this to happen, allow that to happen. You have to read carefully. It's going to pop up. It's not going to be really clear. You have to look for it. Give it all the permissions it needs. It's fine. It's safe, and they work. I just tested it on a Chromebook this morning. So do the lab. So I think there's 4 of them. Do all 4 labs. They can be done. I did them all in 40 minutes. You can do them in 57, especially since there's 2 of you. The topic of the lab is going to be photosynthesis, and yes, it has to do with osmosis and diffusion, and we're going to talk about why that is after the lab. The pre-test is going to be, the post-test is on Juno again. The post-test is going to be what? 50 points. So if you improve your improvement from the pre-test to the post-test is what I'm looking for. Is that clear? If you get whatever grade you get on your post-test, that's the one that's going to count in your Jupiter grades. And this is a 50-point quiz. Okay? You're going to have a grid. You're going to have to do your own grid. It's not going to have the little the lines. You're going to have to kind of figure that out. If you want to bring a ruler because you want to make sure you have a ruler, you want to bring your colored pencils, that might be something you might want to do. But that's on you. I know some of you really like to. So photosynthesis is what the lab's going to be about, and we talked about photosynthesis a little bit already. And there's some basic misunderstandings on photosynthesis, and that one big one is that plants need food. Why do you think people think that plants need food? Why? Because we need food. That's a good reason. So what? Because what? I can't hear you. Because they're living things, and the plants do need food, but they're autotrophs, which means what? They make their own food. That's what auto means, self. They make their own food. So why do people think that they need to add food to plants, soil? What do they call it? You ever been to the store? What does it say on the box? Plant food. Well, go to the store next time you're at Lowe's or something. Come on, we got to stay focused, guys. You saw me try to start, come on, I'm not kidding, we're recording here. So plant food is what the word they use for nutrients. You need to add minerals and nitrogen to the soil, but plants don't need food, they make their own food. So this is a big misunderstanding people have. Wow, we're just going to keep having conversations while I'm trying to instruct you. That's real interesting. I don't really want to know anything. I just want you guys to focus, that's all. Plants don't need oxygen. That's another mistake. These are both wrong. I'm going to say it again. These are both wrong. These are what people think. That plants don't need oxygen. That's wrong. Why do people think that plants don't need oxygen?
Because they don't breathe.
Because they release the oxygen. They produce the oxygen. They release it, so they don't need it, right? Almost everything on the planet needs oxygen. Yes, there's some things that don't use oxygen, but that's another story. There's some bacteria, some chemosynthetic organisms at the bottom, in the crust of the earth and such like, in the bottom of the ocean. Very, very tiny, little, significant, but not most of the life on Earth. Most of the plants, most of the life on Earth needs oxygen to survive. Yes, I hope you come back quick. So oxygen is required for life, and there's a reason for it. We'll see it in the next part of the unit. But plants don't need oxygen is not true. That's why there's a red line through it. That's why the word no with a big arrow is pointing to it. Because plants do need oxygen, so don't get that wrong. Plants release oxygen. That's why people think that they don't need it, like you said, right? So they release extra oxygen. What they're releasing is the extra oxygen. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So they make oxygen, that's true. They use what they need and they release the extra. Even in the labs that you do on Wednesday, they're going to tell you that plants don't need oxygen. That's crazy. What they mean is that they don't need any of the oxygen that comes in through the leaf, but they don't say it correctly, and that's another reason people learn it this way, and why some people graduating college still think that plants don't need oxygen. But they do need oxygen. So let's talk about chloroplasts. We talked about pigments. Do you remember talking about pigments and how light is absorbed? Yeah, remember he said, see the guy with the red shirt, if he has a red shirt on, you see red, what does that mean? What light is that pigment absorbing?
Red.
Everything but red. Good. You remember, good. I had a whole group of kids that didn't remember this afternoon. I was like, oh, that hurts so bad.
We could do that on our ebook.
I'll send you a little video on it. So light. There's three, and I'll attach it to this video. I'll send it with this video. Okay? Yeah. Sure can. Is that better? So when we're talking about pigments, when you're looking at a color, you're looking at what the color you see is what is not absorbed. Because if it's absorbed, it's taken away, right? So if the pigment is absorbing everything but what you see. So if you see the color red,
There ain't no red in there for real.
so all the light except for red is absorbed by that pigment. If you see the color green, all the light except for green is absorbed by that pigment. That should make sense to you, I hope, by now. So now let me ask you this. What color are plants?
Green. Everything but green.
So the plants use all the light from the sun except for green.
Or brown.
Brown is not one of the colors, son. So it's okay. He's playing as usual. So Roy G. Biv are the lights. Remember we talked about it? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Those are the colors of the rainbow. That's the color of white light. All of these together equal white. And if you absorb all the colors, we get black. That's right. That's right. If we absorb all the colors, we are talking about the color black.
So if they absorb all of it, it's going to be black.
So if you see something like this, assuming it's perfect black, then and that's not easy to do. True black is not easy to make. To my knowledge, there's only been a few substances that are truly black. In other words, all the light is absorbed.
Like what?
I don't remember its name, but it was made in the laboratory.
I saw it at the time. It looked like there was an actual hole.
Yeah, it looks like there's a hole because literally no light gets out.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Because even those of us that are darker, there's still light bouncing off. That's how we see our faces, right? We wouldn't see anything if you were true black. You wouldn't be able to see anything. There'd be nothing there.
Your eyes.
Well, okay. I'm just saying though. You wouldn't see anything but a pair of eyes looking out at you. So even this black on this video is not really black. It's black with a little bit off center. Listen, I'd like to finish this so you can do well on Wednesday. So listen, only got a few seconds left. If you just don't ask, just let me talk. So notice that in a plant cell, this is a plant cell wall on the outside, cell membrane on the inside. Some of you are putting things away. You're not paying attention. We're going to stay after school because of it. I'm asking you to give me your attention. You're wasting my time. The bell's going to ring and you're going to still be sitting here. So you have organelles, a mitochondria and a chloroplast. The chloroplasts have membranes. They're called thylakoid membranes. If you have membranes, what do you have? Osmosis, diffusion, cell transport across the membrane. This is an organelle. It's in a plant. There's two of them, mitochondria. What does mitochondria do in a plant? It takes sugar, it makes ATP, but it takes sugar and oxygen. Brooklyn, I'm putting this on the quiz, the next quiz, I'm putting it on the test. I'm not repeating it. Hope you watched the video. So oxygen is required to make ATP even in a plant cell. So plants do need oxygen. They just don't need as much as they make. And chloroplast is where you're making the sugar. And we're going to talk about how that's done. You'll see that on Wednesday. Good luck. Make sure you prepare. Read chapter 8, section 2. That's your photosynthesis. That you better get it done before Wednesday because you're having the lab on Wednesday. Good luck.
Come on.